is a gorgeous day here in Chicago as the North Side-South Side matchup known as the Crosstown Cup resumes here in 2015. It's the first of 6 meetings between the Chicago White Sox and the Chicago Cubs here inside beautiful Wrigley Field this weekend. Great to have you with us. Happy Friday afternoon. Jim DeShays and Len Casper. We'll talk more about these two teams as we move along today, but we're going to focus in on 2 of the elite first basemen, one in each league.
Yeah, you go back to the 50s in New York, and there was all the debates about Mantle versus Mays and Duke Snider in the center field for those clubs. Here in Chicago, in this era, the North Side and South Side could debate about the first baseman, and there's 2 very good ones. On the South Side, it's Jose Abreu. He was an all-star last year. It's not this year. His numbers are off a little bit this season compared to last, but still a tremendous slugger. Leads their team in just about every important offensive department. And Cub fans know how important Big Riz has been for his team this year. He does it all. He's having a monster year, an all-star for the 2nd consecutive season. We'll take a look at the numbers. Average identical. Rizzo's got him a couple in home runs, a little bit in RBIs, but the OPS significantly better for Rizzo. He works way more walks than does Abreu, a better defender, and a good base runner, too.
And with no DH, no Adam LaRoche in the White Sox lineup here today. So it is the 99th all-time interleague matchup between the White Sox and the Cubs. Carlos Rodon, Kyle Hendricks, a pitching matchup coming up next. Maybe batting practice. They'll be wearing the Cubs pinstripes for the game. Not even a week from Tuesday. This coming Tuesday. All-Star break's almost upon us, partner.
It's right here, man. It's crunch time. Final weekend before the break. White Sox on the north side. Good vibe in the ballpark. A lot of energy. Should be a fun weekend.
So Kyle Hendricks, last 2 times out, gave up nothing. So in a very good stretch here. As a right-hander will face this White Sox Southwest starting lineup. First time Hendricks has faced the White Sox or any batters in their lineup. Adam Eaton, the center fielder, will lead it off. Tyler Saladino will make his major league debut today. It's Jose Abreu. We talked about him in the open. He's got an 11-game hitting streak. Melky Cabrera heating up. Avisail Garcia's in right. Alexei Ramirez, the shortstop. Tyler Flowers back of the plate. It's Carlos Sanchez, switch hitting second baseman, and Carlos Rodon, the pitcher.
Let's see how the Cubs shape up defensively here this afternoon. Denorfia's in left, Fowler center, Jorge Soler's your right fielder, third to first. The norm, Brian Castro, Russell Rizzo, Taylor Teagarden gets the starting assignment today behind the plate with a nasty lefty on the mound for the Sox. And the Lexus pursuing perfection starting pitcher is Kyle Hendricks. He's 25 years of age, 6'3", $190, 16 starts, 4 up, 4 down, 3.82 the ERA. As Len mentioned, really good here lately. 7 1/3 shutout against the Marlins last time out. That followed up a 6 shutout inning performance against the Mets on the previous road trip.
Pretty cool for Dan Bellino. He's from Chicago. His major league debut was actually 2008 Orioles and Cubs here at Wrigley Field, and he gets to work this weekend's Sox-Cubs series. Graduate of Loyola Academy in Wilmette. So here we go. Hendricks and Eaton to start it. Both teams playing well. Cubs have won 7 of 10. The White Sox 7 of their last 9. And a strike called on the outside corner. And a fastball at 87 from Kyle Hendricks.
And for both these clubs, the winning lately due primarily because of outstanding starting pitching. The White Sox have improved a little bit offensively, pretty much to a man. They were better last year than this. Really struggling. Dead last in the league in runs scored.
1-1. A little bit off the outside corner. 3 straight sinkers to start it. Tough loss the other night to the Cardinals. But right back at it here today. Swing and a miss, 2-2 on Eaton. The Cubs in that second wild card position currently, 3 games ahead of the Mets. White Sox are in last in their division, the American League Central, as Eaton strikes out. Looks like all fastballs from Hendricks.
And I think that last one really fooled Eaton. I think he convinced himself he was going to see a changeup there on 2-2. And it's a heater off the outside corner, a little late emergency hack to try to stay alive. And it was a foul tip.
Postcard weather, 74, a little breeze off the lake. Very comfortable afternoon. So this is a major league debut for Tyler Saladino. It's been Connor Gillespie and Gordon Beckham at third, mostly Gillespie, and they simply need more production out of that spot. Not sure how long Saladino will be here, but their third basemen collectively have put up the second to worst OPS among all American League teams.
Yeah, and second base has been even worse. And they're not getting a whole lot out of Alexis Ramirez at short either. So it's kind of been Jose Abreu and a whole lot of not much for Robin Ventura from the rest of his infield.
Abreu on deck. And the 1-2 pitch is hit on the ground right to Starlin Castro. 2 outs.
And a little cut changeup from Hendricks that time, moving away from Saladino. The weak contact ground ball to short. That was a very effective pitch for him last time out against the Marlins. In that ball game, he threw strike 1 to 21 of the 26 batters he faced. And there you see the grip on the changeup.
Ball 1 on Abreu. Has hit mostly third this year. He had moved up to the second spot the last 10 consecutive games. Back in the 3-hole this afternoon, and a strike. 1-1. Abreu now 28 years old, right in the prime of his career, even though it's his second year in the big leagues.
He's a bit of an anomaly in that he's a slugger that doesn't induce much of a shift. You look where the Cubs are playing him. They're pretty much straight up, maybe a step the other way in the outfield. He has tremendous power to right field. And the infield, well, Rizzo's off the line, but everybody else pretty much straight up.
Last a couple of years it had been 4 games in 4 days. So 2 here, 2 at U.S. Cellular. This year back to the 3 here, 3 there. Both the weekend sets. Surrounded by Castro. He's got some time and a good stretch by Rizzo at the other end. So a 1-2-3 first for Kyle Hendricks. The Cubs up against left-hander Carlos Rodon when we come back. Donate $100 to Make-A-Wish Illinois. Cubs will face left-handed starters all weekend. There's Southwest starting lineup beginning with Dexter Fowler, Anthony Rizzo, Chris Bryant go 2 and 3. Jorge Soler has been hitting rockets all over the place since he came off the DL. Chris DeNorfia gets the start in left. It's Castro at short. Taylor Teagard in his second start of the week. Hendricks, the pitcher, bats 8th, and Addison Russell, the second baseman, 9th.
White Sox defensively, they've committed 58 errors, 4th most in the American League. Cabrera, Eaton, Garcia, left, center, right. Saladino, the rookie. Ramirez, Sanchez, also a rookie, and Abreu on the infield. Tyler Flowers does the catching this afternoon. And another rookie, the Lexus starting pitcher for the White Sox, Carlos Rodon. He was their first-round pick in the draft last year out of North Carolina State. He made 3 appearances in the bullpen before moving into the rotation. He's 3-2 with a 4.18. So his fastball slider change. And hitters will tell you that slider is really nasty.
Yeah. Developing changeup. That was a pitch up in the zone, and Fowler fouled it off.
Got plus stuff. The White Sox and everybody around baseball fully expect this guy to evolve into a top of the rotation type starter. He has struggled with his command here. Too many walks, too many pitches.
Strike 3.
And he's off to a good start.
He makes quick work of Fowler. And they'll bring up Anthony Rizzo. So Rodon last year was taken 3rd in the draft. Top 3 picks were pitchers. Brady Aiken by the Astros. We know what happened there. Tyler Kolek to the Marlins. Rodon to the White Sox. And then Kyle Schwarber to the Cubs. Outside on Rizzo. 5th best OPS in all of baseball, tied for the National League lead with 24 doubles. Stands right on top of the plate as the slider misses outside. 2-0.
And we talked about Anthony and how good he has been against left-handed pitching. He is really going to get tested this weekend because the lefties that they're running out there all have outstanding stuff and really shut down left-handed hitters.
Fastball on the outside edge. 2-1. White Sox have monitored Rodon's innings closely. They pushed him back on occasion. And when he came up, he actually had started in the bullpen. Essentially has replaced Hector Noesi in their starting rotation. Don't want to assume anything, but if they don't get back into the playoff race, it'll be easier to monitor those innings for sure. As Rizzo takes the walk. So the White Sox, JD, they're in that. Do we ride it out, or do we start moving some veteran guys?
Yeah, the next couple of weeks is going to be very telling for them as they try to make that determination. And if they do decide to sell, they'll probably get a pretty good haul for that fella.
Yeah, Jeff Samardzija is a looming free agent. Chris Bryant now with Rizzo at first, one out, just getting started, bottom of the first, and Rodon will toss over, even though Rizzo had about a 3-foot lead. So drafting pitchers is always a risk. It's not quite as risky when you take a kid out of college. And when you do take a polished pitcher like Rodon, you sometimes see those high draft picks make their major league debut not too long after they've been drafted. So he's 22 years old. And here in the big leagues, a year after he was taken, as that should be 2, and it is 4-6-3 to end the inning. 0-0 after 1.
For all the details. The Crosstown Cup, a new experience for many of the Cubs. Joe Madden, Kyle Hendricks on the bump, Bryant, you name it. But for Clayton Richard, and actually a guy on the other side, Jeff Samardzija, they have a different experience of the Crosstown Cup, having played for both sides now. And guys, the history between these two, even a little bit more ironic as it goes all the way back to their Indiana days. Both of them extremely great athletes in both football and baseball. And it was Clayton Richard who just edged out Jeff Samardzija in 2002 for the Indiana Mr. Football Award. Now Clayton says this morning, you know, it's kind of fun still to cross paths with this guy you've sort of watched all the way through high school, now into his career here in the pros, and I think they have fun with this one, guys.
Thanks, Kelly. And Richard had a 3-inning outing in relief the other night. Possibly could see him in relief in an emergency this weekend. And Jeff Samardzija not scheduled to pitch. He was terrific yesterday.
He's been dealing lately. Complete game shutout yesterday, and if the Sox are inclined to sell, now would be the time to move because he's been really good.
Called strike 3. Cabrera's reaction to that pitch was that it was not on the plate, but Rambolino thought it was.
Well, let's see. A little comeback sinker.
Yeah.
It looked like he caught the top of the zone inside corner. Normally expect to get that call, but according to our grid of accuracy, it was a strike.
Avisail Garcia is 24 years old, 6'4", 240. And he muscles this one in the air, but not over Addison Russell, who makes the catch.
Yeah, so this is going to be interesting because Kyle Hendricks is a very efficient pitcher. He throws a lot of strikes. And the White Sox, they're a bunch of free swingers. They don't walk much at all. So if they're willing to go up there and swing early, and he's throwing a little sinker off the corner, a little cut change up away from them, he's going to get a lot of quick outs.
Alexei Ramirez back in their lineup. Did not play yesterday after fouling a ball off his left foot the night before. And he rarely sits. Last 5 years, at least 156 games. He's a wily old veteran in this matchup. White Sox and Cubs. Pops up the bunt attempt off the screen. Did a great thing on the video boards here before the national anthem, honoring two Chicago baseball legends who passed away in the offseason, Minnie Minoso and Ernie Banks. Broken bat pop up on the infield, and Hendricks makes a catch as Bryant came streaking behind him. 6 up, 6 down for the right-handers. His scoreless streak continues through 2 innings here today. Down full swing, no time like the present to plan for a game here at beautiful Wrigley Field. The Phillies, Rockies, Giants, and Brewers will kick off the second half of the season. Here at Wrigley Field, don't wait until the last minute. Secure your seats at Cubs.com today. I want to thank everybody who came out to Metro last night. Hot Stove Cool Music #4 here in Chicago. Raised a ton of money. Thanks for all of your support for the foundation to be named later. JD, thank you for being there. We had a great time. Had a lot of players show up. And, they carried Eddie Vedder off the stage.
Great show. Yeah, that was pretty nice. The whole show was great. Obviously, Eddie Vedder, the headliner, was just outstanding. And it was fun when the players went up on stage at the end, doing the thing they do down in the dugout, 2 claps and a Ric Flair.
Down with the 0-1, and Soler fouls. 0-2.
And you were up there. You got the jam with Eddie Vedder. That's kind of cool. Check that off the bucket list.
Did I really do it, or I thought I dreamed it? Swing and a miss, strike 3. So 2 strikeouts early on. Well done. Chris Denorfia.
Yeah, I think the Cubs, what they're going to pay attention to is any kind of a pattern from Rodon. If they sense that he's starting fastballs early and then trying to finish it with sliders, they're going to become a little more aggressive, try to attack those fastballs, because that slider, when he's got it going, that can be devastating.
In the outside corner, Rodon's father, born in Cuba. Carlos grew up in North Carolina. Went to NC State.
Highest pick by the White Sox since they took Harold Baines #1 overall back in '77.
One and 2. Castro next. 14th appearance, 11th start for the lefty. And it'll be a lefty weekend for the White Sox. Chris Sale, the All-Star, tomorrow, and Jose Quintana on Sunday. Cubs will have John Lester tomorrow, Jake Arrieta to wrap up the first half. Full count, 3-2. And for Jake, he'll be shooting for his 10th win. Inside, he walked him. You mentioned Kyle Hendricks, strike thrower. White Sox pretty aggressive. Cubs are patient. And Rodon at times not as efficient. And check out these matchups the rest of the weekend.
Obviously a great matchup tomorrow with Lester and Sale, and on Sunday Arrieta Quintana. Quintana's been on a very nice roll as well.
He's been a tough luck guy the last couple of years in terms of run support. Lead by Denorfia, not running. Castro takes ball 1.
Yeah, Rodon has only managed to pitch 5 innings in each of his last 2 starts, and over 100 pitches in those 2 ball games. So that speaks to a lot of deep counts.
Almost 19 pitches per inning. That's really high. So he's 18.7 pitches per inning. Kyle Hendricks is at 15. So you think about that over 5 or 6 innings. That's an extra inning.
Yep, that's more outs you got to get out of the bullpen, and generally it's the middle relief guys you're trying to stay away from.
So after the walk to Denorfia, he's gone 2-0 on Castro. Starlin just 2 out of 23 on his homestand. Fouled away, 2-1.
Well, if there were a right-handed pitcher on the mound, I'm pretty sure Joe Madden would have Denorfia moving here, try to play a little hit and run with Castro up there. He's a ground ball hitter, and Rodon gets a lot of ground balls. He may start him anyway. Maybe less inclined to do so with a lefty on the mound. You don't get as good a jump, obviously, and if you get a swing and miss, you have an easy play for Flowers, excuse me.
You're going to drop a Flowers on
Flowers
at some point.
Hopefully we don't get a Fowler-Flowers collision at home plate.
How about the catchers? We have Flowers and Teagarden. It's kind of fun. That Phil Plantier is not in the lineup. Three and 1.
Mike Ivy.
3-2.
Now decision time for Joe Madden. Start Northfield or not.
By the way, for the record, you did not stay out too late last night. You've just been battling a little.
Yeah, it's the head cold.
Yeah. Diving stop, Ramirez. What a play to return it. Oh my goodness. Alexei Ramirez and Carlos Sanchez.
Yeah, that's why you buy a ticket to a major league game right there.
0-0.
Sanchez knocking off to avoid the hit to complete the double play. That was pretty slick stuff.
So onward, we're in the third now. Flowers, Sanchez, Rodon for the White Sox, and there's a strike from Kyle Hendricks.
Nothing sharp off Hendricks yet. A couple of strikeouts, but some weak contact.
0-2. Flowers hitting .323 over his last 10. He's cranked 5 home runs over his last 23. We'll likely see Miguel Montero, even against the lefties, tomorrow and Sunday. Teagarden gets a nod with Hendricks today. Swing and a miss. Strike 3.
The professor has got it going on here this afternoon. This is the cut changeup. That's strikeout number 3. So he starts the third like he started the first and the second with a punch out.
Beautiful day, big crowd. Sanchez takes a strike. Took over at second base in mid-May. Michael Johnson had the job, but they needed to improve their defense. That one feathered, and Castro just can't get it. That is the first hit of the ball game. A one-out single for Sanchez.
And even this not hit very hard off the end of the bat. Just beyond the reach of Castro. So, yeah, you talked earlier about third base being a problem. Second base has been a black hole offensively for the White Sox. They do not
have a home run yet from that position. Less than 10 extra base hits from their second baseman.
Well, the thing about it, you look at their numbers team-wise, as Rodon bunts, and Bryant's going to get the out at first. Go 5-4 on a sacrifice. You look at their numbers, they're pretty awful all across the board. So they're last in the American League in runs, homers, and slugging. They're second to last in hits, steals, walks, and on base percentage. The pitching has been really good at times, but still ranking only 11th in the American League, and they're last in the majors in defensive efficiency. That's turning batted balls into outs. Yet they've won 7 of their last 9. And a lot of people think that they have underachieved. Some may say, well, it's a flawed roster to begin with, but when you do look at the track records, as you mentioned earlier, there are a lot of guys who need to pick it up just to get back to where they normally would be.
They spent a lot of money in the offseason. They created a lot of buzz at the winter meetings. Took a pretty significant jump in payroll. Made some long-term commitments, and the expectation was that they'd be competitive. It just hasn't played out. The question is, how long do you ride it?
One and one on Eaton. He struck out to start the game. Swing and a miss. He's got 6 home runs. That's by far a career high. And in his 78 games, he had 6 in his first 3 major league seasons combined in over 200 games. Popped him up behind third. Castro straddling that line makes the catch, and the inning is over. They strand him in at second. Midway in the third, scoreless.
Continues tomorrow as the Cubs take on the Sox. First pitch 3:05. First 10,000 fans here at the ballpark will receive a mobile power bank presented by Starwood Preferred Guest. For details, visit Cubs.com.
Taylor Teagarden. So not only Teagarden and Flowers, but we've got a Taylor and a Tyler.
Would have been a Tinker.
On 3 in the Cubs order. Teagarden batting 7th. Backdoor breaking ball is in there. Taylor visited children at the wheelchair softball field at California Park earlier this week. Chance to play softball with participants at the Cubs Fantasy Camp for Kids, with RIC's Caring for Kids program. Helped with hitting, fielding, and pitching. Got in a wheelchair and tried it out himself. Good stuff. It was a wonderful program. 1 ball and 2 strikes on him. Close, but just missed. Pitchers on deck. Everything else will be later. So I would imagine just about the rest of the MLB baseball world, in terms of clubhouses, they probably got this game turned on.
Either that or they're watching a replay of Kenny Powers.
Or old school or something. Every once in a while they'll throw in a DVD before BP. Sanchez makes a catch.
Cubs looking for their first hit. They've had a couple of base runners, both walks, both erased with double plays. League gets 277 against Rodon, but right-handed hitters significantly better against lefties, so that's why Rizzo's the only left-handed bat in here today.
Aggressive swing by Hendricks.
You mentioned, you talked about the repertoire of Rodon. That it was a developing changeup, and if that pitch comes along for him, that's going to really change those numbers for right-handed hitters.
Opposite field single. Kyle Hendricks has the Cubs' first base hit.
The pitchers have been on a bit of a roll here offensively. Gets the foot down in time.
Pretty smooth looking swing from Hendricks. Addison Russell, it's been a struggle for him here lately offensively, but that 9th inning at bat, the fireballer Trevor Rosenthal Wednesday night was a beauty. Ended up gapping a double the other way. Gave the Cubs a little life after Johnny Peralta hit the go-ahead home run.
Yeah, Cubs had 3 really good at-bats in that bottom of the 9th against Rosenthal. Just a crazy game. It probably would have been the feel-good win of the year to that point, and it ended up being the most disappointing loss. But you move on. That's the nature of the game.
Two and one on him. Bounce foul. Let's hear from Joe Madden on the 21-year-old rookie Addison Russell.
Now he's making all these adjustments here. Has not caved, has not cowered, has not done any of that. He just keeps coming out. He's got that same stern look about him. And in my scout's hat, like a year and a half, a year from now, the difference is going to be incredible in regards to his performance and how he reacts to the day. So that's where I think some people have to really understand when you don't, if you're not involved in this on a daily basis. Sometimes it doesn't look so pretty when you get down on somebody because of that. No, not with this kid, man. He's special, and he's going to show it.
Good stuff from Joe Madden. Meantime, a pass ball charged to Flowers. So Hendricks now second and 3-2 on Russell.
Yeah, there goes the double play opportunity for the White Sox. Another deep count opportunity for Russell to drive in Hendricks here on 3-2. So Rodon really hasn't flashed that changeup yet, so he's basically a 2-pitch pitcher. And tough to make a living as a starter
Thrown only 2 pitches.
Here it comes. He walked him.
Well, and just like that, I believe that was the changeup. It wasn't a bad pitch. A lot of guys would have chased at that one, but Russell, showing a disciplined eye, takes the walk. No, and it's just a backdoor slider.
Fowler's sitting on 799 career hits. Much better right-handed than left-handed this year. .327 righty, .211 left-handed. 2-0. Driven into right. Is it caught? It is. It is caught. It's an out called. It'll be a double play. Oh, no, it won't. He threw it away. Hendricks, though, is standing at third. He's got to go back to second. There's the double play.
Here comes Joe Madden. He's gonna tell everybody to just kind of stay put for a second here. Don't run off the field. We're going to take a look at this.
Not sure why Garcia threw to first when Hendricks was around third, but in the end he stayed there and was easily doubled off. Now I'll tell you one thing here that's tricky. Alfonso Marquez made the out call. Okay,
right.
So that's correct. Joe may or may not challenge it, but they got it right. He caught it, and what I was going to say is, if he picked it off the grass before it hit the grass, that's an out, because Marquez said he had it long enough before he pulled it out of his glove. And if you are reaching in and pulling it out, they will give you the catch.
Tom Hallion, the crew chief, is going to come over with an explanation for Joe. And that's what he's asking. You pull it out of the glove cleanly. And what Hallion's going to say is, well, he rolled over with it. He had control long enough.
Still going to challenge it. Is that what you saw? I thought he had it long enough.
Yeah, it used to be they were a little more particular about that outfielders had to cleanly make that transfer from glove to throwing hand. Or they wouldn't call it a catch. It seems to me in recent years they've been, if you have it in your possession, and I don't think there's a count. I think it's just a judgment call by the umpire where they feel like he has secured the ball long enough.
Yeah, the ball only came out when he reached in. That's the key, though. Did he catch it there? If it hit the grass, obviously it's a trap. At first look, I thought he got his glove under it, but every look I get now, I'm not so sure. Again, Marquez called him out. So there has to be conclusive evidence to the contrary. Right?
Well, it's hard to tell, isn't it?
Well, it bounces, but there's the leather underneath the ball at that second.
Yeah, you can see a little bit of a deflection. But I can't tell one way or another whether that it bounced on the grass or the fingers of his glove.
Well, the first time I saw it, I thought he caught it.
See, that looks like a catch there, doesn't it?
Yes. Yeah. Yep. Yep. So it's a double play, and the inning is over.
Three double plays in 3 innings.
Wild finish to the 3rd inning. split out with the Sox at 120. First 5,000 kids get a color your own Cubs insulated lunch bag presented by Vienna Beef. Then after the game, the first 1,000 kids 13 and younger with wristbands will be allowed on the field to run the bases, weather permitting. For more info, visit Cubs.com. Strike two on Saladino, making his major league debut. We're going to take a look, one last look at the end of the play. We're focusing on the catch. Just to clarify how that play ended for those who may have been confused. Okay, so here's the catch. Runners both assuming the ball is not going to be caught. Garcia, it's called out. Now he's trying to double off Russell at first. Ball gets away. It stays in play because it hit the fence in front of the dugout. And Flowers has an easy play at second because Kyle Hendricks was standing at third. So that is the third out right there. See where Hendricks is.
Yeah, and if Garcia didn't lose the handle trying to pull the ball out of his glove, Hendricks would have known to go back to second.
Castro charges.
But because the ball popped loose at some point, Kyle's like, well, I don't want to start heading back to second and possibly be tagged out when I'm okay here at third.
It is where replay might affect how you run the bases there, right?
I don't know. I think it, in real time playing the game down there, it's kind of hard to think through all the different scenarios.
I guess in other words, if you do run back to second and then they decide it wasn't caught, you lose a base as a result. Wild. Well, no, I guess the bases would have been loaded, right? Fowler would have been safe. Yeah, that would have been interesting trying to piece all that together.
Yeah, and it's going to, and there will be situations where umpires are going to have to just use their best judgment and place guys.
One and two.
Abreu not walking as much this year as last, maybe because his team is really scuffled. He's trying to do too much. Looks like he has to carry the load. Got a bunch of struggling hitters around him in the batting order. Lately they've been better. Melky Cabrera has started to heat it up lately. Flowers swinging it better.
Foul. So if the throw to first had gone into the dugout, that would have helped the Cubs' cause. They would have been able to turn the double play, but it hit that chain link fence right in front. Toward the hole, diving stop, Bryant. Does he have time? No. Infield hit Abreu. He's got a 12-game hitting streak.
Still really hasn't been a sharply hit ball off Kyle Hendricks. Nice play here, laying out by Bryant. Signed to a 3-year, $42 million deal this winter. Coming off a big year. He's only 30. It seems like he's been around forever.
Hitting .383 his last 16 games. He's been much better from this side of the plate. A miss.
It's like a styrofoam cup, his changeup. It just never gets there.
Have you seen Larry Young this weekend?
I have not.
Our supervisors. Interesting to ask him about that play that we just saw, a double play. Base hit Cabrera, 9-game hitting streak, back-to-back singles. Just trying to think, if that ball did go out of play, Hendricks was at third. I think the ball is dead at that point, and the White Sox maybe could appeal. I mean, that would have been a headache-inducing type of scoring decision. It's fun to try to piece those things together. Garcia popped to second in the second. 2 men on for the first time for the White Sox. Three hits for the Sox. Cubs have one. That was from the pitcher. Jam shot, pop, fly. Denorfia makes the catch. 2 outs. And we'll bring up Ramirez. Tapper, Hendricks will get out of the inning, so they strand a couple. Bottom 4. Cubs nothing, White Sox nothing. CSN Chicago has your VIP passes. Enter to win at csnchicago.com/sportscollectors for your chance at 2 VIP passes, which include entrance to all 5 days, free autographs, early admission, and plenty more. By the way, that replay review, the call was confirmed. Joe Madden has lost his challenge, although after the 6th inning he can strongly request a replay review. Rizzo, Bryant, and Soler. Wide for ball 1.
I guess goal number 1 here would be not to hit into a double play this inning.
Right. Well, I guess that means they've been getting base runners, and that's true. They've walked 3 times and had 1 hit. Big overshift against Rizzo and a strike on him. Three and one. So far the walks have not hurt Rodon, although it's never really good for your pitch count. Two outside, ball four. Well, Zach Greinke is putting together one heck of a first half. He would be the odds-on favorite for the Cy Young right now. I guess Max Scherzer might have something to say about it. But how about a 1.39 earned run average? Shutout win over the Phillies last night. His scoreless streak almost at 36 innings.
That's covering his last 5 starts. He's got a ways to go to track down Drysdale and Hershiser, but obviously worth keeping an eye on. Oral Hershiser in '88 with 56 2/3 scoreless innings to break the record that was held by Don Drysdale.
Feels like that record will be broken at some point just because of the current run scoring environment.
Yeah,
doesn't it? Jeff Samardzija, last 2 starts, went into the 6th with a no-no, right? I mean, it almost feels like every day here recently somebody does that. Kyle Hendricks has his streak at 19 1/3 innings at the moment. Covering his last 3 starts, including today. Decent lead by Rizzo at first. Rodon to the plate. They'll try to turn this one. 6-4. They do not get that second out. How many big third basemen would beat out that double play ball?
None other come to mind for me right now. We talk a lot about it this year. Chris Bryant, not just a slugger, he's an athlete. Close at first base, but it looked like he beat it. Pretty slick turn out there by Sanchez. He's impressive defensively. He's really struggled with the bat, but looks like he's major league ready with the glove.
Sox defense, as we said, at times has really been a problem. They've been terrific here to start this one. Cabrera playing very deep in left against Jorge Soler. Knocked down by Rodon, and everybody's safe. That was a great play just to knock that ball down. Wow, did it come back hard.
He has hit into some tough luck since coming off the disabled list. So this would have been very frustrating had Rodon been able to snare that one on him. He gets an infield hit. Boom, boom. And Rodon in no time.
Northview now at 2 on and 1 out. Here we go. Rodon to the plate. It's a strike. The runner at second. It's Bryant. And 2-1. Cardinals played last night after that 4-game split here. They went to Pittsburgh and beat the Pirates 4-1. Carlos Martinez went into the 8th. Shutout ball. St. Louis and Pittsburgh currently have the top 2 records in the National League. The All-Star game in Cincinnati is a really interesting Associated Press piece. We talked to Ray Fosse. Quotes from Pete Rose about the collision, Riverfront Stadium, 1970. To this day, Ray Fosse still feels the after effects. Devastating blow. Basically separated his shoulder, but I don't think he missed any time.
Yeah, I don't recall. I just remember the collision.
He's quoted saying, "As if it happened yesterday. As much as it's shown, I don't have to see it on TV. As a replay to know what happened, it's fresh." And really felt like that night changed his entire career. It was the game-winning run for the National League. I guess they went out to dinner together the night before.
Oh, yeah?
I didn't know that.
Ray must not have picked up the tab.
3-2 with 1 out. There go the runners. Swing and a miss. Throw to third. Oh, another double play.
Wow. Many varieties of double plays. The theme here this afternoon.
4-6-3, 6-4-3, 9-2-6. Strike him out. Throw him out. Inning over.
Nationwide agent Jeff Vukovich. Visit Jeff at jeffvuk.com. Nationwide is on your side.
What's up, Patrick Mooney?
What's up, guys? How you been?
Howdy.
Doing great. Beautiful day. Crazy start to this one. Always seems like there's some sort of news when the Sox and Cubs get together, but I'd say a fairly quiet day. Let's get the Jason Hamill update. Cubs were encouraged by the MRI, right? And it sounds like he'll pitch 5th after the break.
Yeah, all things considered, probably a best case outcome as well as the timing of it. And Jason said it the other night. The silver lining being the All-Star break and the way this weekend sets up, because obviously it seems like, how long we've been talking about the need for pitching and the trade deadline, and I think that injury really kind of underscored all of that. And I think the Cubs are really going to start ramping it up, through the All-Star break, after the All-Star break, as some of these teams shake out as either buyers or sellers.
2 strikes on the catcher, Tyler Flowers. So we discussed earlier the situation Rick Hahn is in, stay put or go into sell mode. And the Cubs are dealing with 29 other teams, but because there's another major league team in the city, the question is, well, is there a matchup between the Cubs and the White Sox? And people you talk to, as that ball rolled on a broken bat to Castro, is he out? Would it be out of line to say that Rick Hahn and Jed Hoyer or Theo Epstein may have had conversations, or might?
I think there's, because I'm thinking of Samardzija, and then obviously that would be a nice fit for the Cubs, but I really do not see that happening. I think they're just, on both sides. I don't see the White Sox wanting to do anything to help the Cubs, which is, within their rights. I just think there's, too much back and forth there. I don't think they want to see, what if they get Samardzija and they kind of go on a roll and, they kind of take over the city where they already kind of have established themselves, this summer as a team that's, has a lot of buzz. And I still think the White Sox haven't figured that out yet. And Jed Hoyer even admitted that the White Sox are one of several teams that haven't really decided which way they're going to go. And I think the White Sox feel like they're going to give them another couple weeks here.
Off the end of the bat, and that ball will drop. How about Sanchez's day? He's got 2 hits, and both have been a little flares to left. JD, I think that's a really interesting topic. You have 2 teams in different leagues, and I think the Mets-Yankees thing is almost similar. No general manager would ever admit that would ever play into it. But if you are the White Sox, do you think you can't deal with the Cubs because of that?
Well, there's a certain amount of risk, right? Because it's staring you in the face. If you lose the deal, either way. So if you're the Cubs and you're acquiring a Samardzija or a veteran type guy, but you give up a couple of top-notch prospects, and all of a sudden you don't make it to the postseason, your renter player goes away, and the prospect turns out to be a stud across town, you have to eat that and live with that for a long time. So there's risk on both sides. At the end of the day, I think if there's a deal there to be made, you got to have a little bit of a gunslinger's mentality and say, let's go for it. But I would think that the GMs on both clubs, the decision makers would say, well, there's a lot of other trading partners. We'll look there first. And that's kind of an interesting dynamic too. It's kind of like congratulations on your pregnancy, and you find, I'm not pregnant. That same thing when you call a guy, hey, we're interested in so-and-so. Well, wait a minute, we're not selling. We still think we're a contender. And you're, sorry, you didn't know that.
Interesting.
Based on the way we're looking at the standings, we don't see you as a seller.
Now, having said all of that, at least the way Theo and Jed operate, and I think Rick and Kenny Williams do too, the baseball guys, to the Cubs brass, the White Sox are just one of 29 other teams, right? And I think vice versa, it's the same. They don't look at it like fans would, because I think it can be dangerous to not view it that way, right?
Yeah, and I think we just saw the Cardinals come in here, and those 4 games that I think is as loud as it's been probably since those playoff years a couple of years ago, and that's where the Cubs are kind of measuring themselves against. And the White Sox obviously are in surprisingly a pretty difficult division now. That a lot of teams are kind of on that cycle where they're in contention now. And I think Jed said it today, publicly. Yeah, of course, we get along great with those guys. Blah blah blah. I don't think they would actually come down and pull the trigger on something like that.
By the way, Rodon was 0 for 1 in his major league career going into today. 0 plate appearances in the minors, and he's laid down 2 sack bunts already in this game. It's off the outside corner. Adam Eaton.
Well,
When was the last significant trade between the Cubs and the White Sox?
I want to say that's a good question. Matt Kirchner. So Matt Kirchner, that was 1998 for John Garland. Has there been one since then? I don't remember one.
This will come up with the Cubs too. If the Brewers and Reds are selling, are they going to trade within the division?
Right.
And Theo said, we made that Travis Wood trade with Sean Marshall, but that was totally different circumstances. A couple of years ago now. So I think a lot's going to kind of shake out here in the next couple of days. The teams that really are playing for, either kind of blowing it all up or going for it. Because there's so many teams like the Padres that invested a lot in the offseason, and now they're probably going to have to raise the white flag.
Do you think the All-Star break will be a busy few days in terms of trades?
I think Jed kind of thought the calls might pick up kind of over the break, and then coming out of that, and seeing like a team like the White Sox, if they win 3 games here, they're going break feeling pretty good. And then they'll have another week to 10 days to really establish themselves. Because I think everyone looked at the White Sox offseason moves and no one thought they did something crazy or out of line. Like they were all pretty logical, and you'd think they'd be playing at a better rate than they have.
Ooh, that ball came back up and I think might have hit Eaton in the side of the face, or the ear flap. Actually, the other side, the non-protected ear.
Well, it's a great look at the changeup from Hendrickson. We had the slow-mo look at it earlier when he was cutting it away from the right-handed hitter. That time he's fading it down and away from the lefty. Gives you a good idea how good he is at manipulating the baseball.
3-2. Sanchez, the runner at second. We're in the 5th. Swing and a miss to end the inning. Patrick Mooney covers the Cubs every day. Check him out, csnchicago.com. 0-0 in the 5th. The new Budweiser bleachers, there's no experience quite like it. Combo of exciting Cubs baseball and the new bleacher experience will keep the Budweiser bleachers one of the hot spots for entertainment in Chicago. Visit Cubs.com/bleachers to buy tickets and to learn more about the available spaces. Yeah, the other deal, the Neil Kotz trade, David Ardsma, 2006. The last kind of significant deal, the Garland-Karchner trade back in the late 90s. Outside for a ball, 1-1. Two and one. Might have to hit a home run here to not deal with that double play opportunity.
The record for double plays in a game is 7.
Three and one.
Didn't have to be. On the plate, looked like a little low. A lot of deep counts for Rodon here today. Let's see, 3-1 fastball.
Boy, he's giving a high one too. Vertically, pretty big today.
But you know, a lot of hitters will tell you they're okay with that. They'd rather that than have the zone be big wide. You know, ball 3 inches off the plate that you can't reach. You can always go up and get one or go down and get one.
Strike 3 called. Frustrating finish to that at bat by Castro. If you weren't alive or you missed it or you had no idea what we were talking about, that ended the 1970 All-Star game. The guy who got the hit was a Cub, Jim Hickman. Leo DeRocher was at third base, the third base coach, and boy, that was a nasty, nasty collision.
Yeah, well, he said there was nowhere for Rose to go. Fosse had home plate blocked.
5 years ago this July 14th.
The game was played with a little more intensity back then. Even though the only thing at stake was league pride.
Oh, 0-2 on Tea Garden. Two. On Sunday, throwback uniforms. Entire team for the Cubs will wear the number 14, the 1958 in honor of Ernie Banks. Friday, August 14th, the White Sox will wear Minnie Minoso's retired number 9. Great tribute on the video board before the game. Bounce to third. Saladino makes the play. The White Sox have won 22 of the last 35 in this all-time series, and 11 of their last 16 in this ballpark. I mentioned this is the 99th matchup. 178 Major League players have worn both uniforms, including Edwin Jackson, Clayton Richard, Emilio Bonifacio, Zach Putnam, Jeff Samardzija, and Giovanni Soto. Mark Parent, the bench coach for the White Sox, was a Cub in the mid-90s. Dave Martinez played with both teams. So did Steve Stone and Darren Jackson. Here in the broadcast booth.
And Ron Coomer started his career as a farmhand with the White Sox.
And later played for the Cubs. He grew up coming to Wrigley Field. There's DJ. You get a DJ dropped on you every once in a while. I'm sure he hears a JD. Got to keep it straight.
Rodon doing the walk-off, but he's going to have to throw at least one more pitch here in the fifth.
Strike three to end the inning. 2 strikeouts in the fifth for Rodon. Didn't need a double play this time. Millions are playing. Download MLB.com. Home Run Derby free on the App Store and Google Play. There's a lot of reaction on Twitter. The White Sox Cub thing. We're not going to name every guy who played for both teams. We just were saying the people in the ballpark right now. Okay. But yes, I remember the Sammy Sosa trade.
We could just get a scroll going. Run it across the bottom of the screen.
Saladino fouls back. He was grounded out twice in his first ever major league game. 7th round pick out of Oral Roberts, 2010. He's from San Diego. He can run. 25 steals in 52 games at AAA. Really good on base skills, not a lot of power. In his minor league career.
Yeah, 4 home runs at AAA this year. 25 steals in 27 tries, so very efficient. A couple ground balls to short here today.
By observation, and depending on the year and what team is doing what in the standings. Bounce to Rizzo. Hendricks covering. We'll see more Cubs blue in the games at U.S. Cellular Field when the Cubs are having a really good season, and vice versa here. I'm not seeing nearly as much White Sox black in the ballpark than maybe the last 2 or 3 years here today. And that kind of matches with the standings. And I would expect to see more Cubs blue when they go to the south side in August than the last few years, with the Cubs struggling in the standings. Abreu just got hit. Got away from Hendricks. 1 out base runner.
Yeah, they're trying to crowd him, and we talked earlier about Abreu's power the other way. So you got to make sure you do your due diligence inside on him. Don't let him just cover the outside part of the plate, because they just ping away at that wall in right center on you. So the idea was good to try to crowd him, just didn't execute the pitch.
Rizzo knocks it down, step on the bag, throw, tag, inning over. Cubs giving the White Sox a dose of their own medicine. That is a 3-6 double play. And we'll head to the bottom of the 6th. Nicely done.
Listen up, MLS returns to CSN as the Chicago Fire take on the Seattle Sounders tomorrow at 7 p.m. and you can catch that right here on CSN. Well, tomorrow it's the big matchup of both aces. John Lester, Chris Sale going at it, and John Lester talking to the media earlier this afternoon about having always enjoyed watching Chris Sale pitch. Says, you know, he got to know him a little bit last year. He's a fun-loving guy, loves to pitch, and he says he's wiry, elbows flying everywhere, but boy, can he chuck the ball. And he says it's always fun, of course, to go up against the best. So looking forward to that matchup. And guys, even funnier, Lester in a very humorous mood this morning said, if I'm a betting guy, I wouldn't bet on my second hit coming tomorrow, probably, against that guy.
Thank you, Kelly. Yeah, that should be a terrific matchup.
No fun ABs against Chris Sale, especially for a left-handed hitter.
2 strikes on Addison Russell. Here it comes. 1-2. 4 hits for the White Sox. 2 hits for the Cubs. These 2 young pitchers have been terrific.
Well, when you look at these clubs, the way they have struggled offensively and the way they've pitched, you kind of expect this kind of ball game here this weekend. That one just really got away from Rodon.
Fills it up, 3-2. Fowler and Rizzo also due here in the Cubs half of the 6th. The pitch. Almost hit him, ball 4.
Russell working a couple of walks here today.
I think the game plan for Rodon is just to keep setting up double play chances.
Yeah, he kind of crossed us up last inning. He went 3 up, 3 down with a couple of strikeouts.
Long time Sox pitching coach Don Cooper. I love how honest he is with the media. I know he does a weekly thing on the Score. The quote the other day was essentially about Chris Sale and some other guys in the roster, and he said, Chris Sale's keeping me employed. So I hope they don't trade him. Great line. Yeah, I have a hard time imagining the White Sox would seriously consider trading maybe the best pitcher in the American League. He was under control for a while with a pretty affordable number. I don't know if you could get enough in return.
Yeah, and I don't know if there's any such thing as an untouchable, but he probably would be about as close as there is. And you know, that's what scouting is all about. If somebody were to come to you with a package that was just so enticing, you probably would have to at least think about it. I don't know how deep their farm system is. I don't know if they have much on the way.
Check on Russell. But what will be interesting to see in this inning, okay, you want to stay out of the double play that's really bitten the Cubs. They did hit and run earlier and ran into out number 3 at third, but I have a feeling if Joe wants to run, thinks he can, he will. He's not going to be deterred by what has already happened in the ballgame today. Especially in a 0-0 tie, you may have to get even more aggressive.
Yeah, and you know, Addison Russell is not proven to be a good base stealer at this level. I think that may come with time, so he might not feel comfortable with his reads. So if he were to play hit and run here, I'm sure Addison would not get a great jump off the left-hander Rodon, and you know, Dexter swings and misses a fair bit. That would be the big downside. But yeah, I mean, that's the game you play. You know, and a lot of times when you start base runners in this situation, it's not so much being aggressive, it's being protective, trying to stay out of that double play. And what's more likely to happen, the swing and miss or the ground ball double play? Who knows? The way you're going today, it's probably the foul pop to the catcher double play. That's about the only one we haven't seen.
Glorious Friday afternoon. Wow.
As a manager, you have to look at it as what's the most likely scenario in this situation? This pitcher, this hitter, this base runner, not what has happened in the first 5 innings of the game.
It's Joe's mantra, really. I mean, he's got his card. He at all times is thinking about the likelihood of this happening or that happening, and weighing the risk and the reward. It's every manager's job.
Borderline. Yeah, when you're having a day like today with the double plays the way they've come, you'd be tempted to get one of those magic 8 balls and just shake it. Should I start my base runner now? Shake it up. Ask me later. Outlook fuzzy.
Not going Fowler fouls. Yeah, I think exactly what you said earlier in this sequence is probably driving Joe's decision to not have Russell on the move here on a 3-2. A swing and miss potential, and Russell not yet. Great base stealer. That's tapped up along first. Fowler.
And you got Fowler who runs well, so you know he's got a chance to beat the relay on a ground ball. A better chance than many. And you're getting into the stage of the game where these are critical decisions. One play could determine the outcome of this game.
another 3-2. Called strike 3 on the inside. Well, that is a big pitch potentially here in this inning. Fowler saying you missed it.
Yeah, four strikeouts for Rodon today. They've all been looking. Yeah, that pitch was inside. Rizzo boosting that on-base percentage with a couple of walks. Would not be stunned to see him try to push a bunt towards third base off the lefty here in this situation. Chris Bryant up next. Saladino way off the bag. Tough lefty on the mound.
Jake Petrichka. Rodon is up over 90 pitches. This has been more common than not. Eaton is in, and he makes a running grab. He's got a shot at Russell. Safe, barely safe. He got in head first.
Well, the way today is going, you almost thought they were going to get him. 4 double plays turned by the White Sox already, and awfully close to number 5. This would have been a different feel. Russell went just far enough where he could scramble back ahead of that throw.
I think that's always the goal as a base runner, whether it's the lead you have or in that situation, you want to be able to just be able to get back.
Yeah, he probably drifted a little too far there. I mean, he was able to beat it back. A ball like that, you want to read it and make sure you go far enough where you can beat a possible force play at second base. Rodon has allowed 4 home runs this year, all to right-handed batters.
Inside 1-1. And looking at some of his starts, 6 innings, 108. The pitch count, 4 innings, 96. 6 innings, 103. 6 innings, 116. He's had a couple of 5-inning starts of over 100 pitches.
Man, his last 2. You know, the double plays have saved him here today. Not for the double plays. Might be, you know, the 5th inning of 100+ pitches. But that's the thing, he's a young kid. Last year he was in college, 22 years of age, pitching at a high level.
Three and 1. One pitch, one zone here for Bryant. The Cubs try to break this scoreless tie. Second walk of the inning, 6th on the day. Might that be it?
I think that was, I don't want any part of them. And here comes the aforementioned Don Cooper.
So we'll get one more batter here.
What's the old adage? You'd rather pull him one too early than one too late. This could prove to be the one too late if he gets this. He takes this confrontation with Soler. Yes, Coop and I were teammates on the Columbus Clippers back in 1984-85, somewhere in there.
pitching coach material 30 years ago?
Well, you know, Coop was a big personality. Loved to talk the game. I don't know that I projected him as a pitching coach, but not surprised to see him still in the game. Frankly, I don't know who I played with back in the day that I thought, yeah, that guy's going to make a good pitching coach someday.
Right, like when I talked to David Ross, I think he'll be a big league manager within 5 years after he's retired. Easy prediction because it'll take 5 or 6 or 7 years, depending on when he retires, for me to be proven wrong. So it'll be Rodon against Soler. Strikeout in the second, infield hit in the fourth.
This is a risky play by Robin Ventura. It's the nature of the game, right? There's always upside and downside to any move. There's always the potential for something to backfire on you.
Our AT&T U-verse multi-view. 2 more walks here in the 6th inning.
One of his best off-speed pitches of the afternoon.
Of fits and the tantrums. Will be performing in the extra innings show on the Budweiser bleacher right field porch. After the game, they'll conduct the stretch. There's a little tune-up. Chopped foul near the Cubs dugout. Back into the dugout. White Sox fan gave it to a young Cub fan. That is how you do it. Big fan of your work, sir. 1-2 to Soler. The pitch. Line and caught. Saladino down to a knee, made the grab. Soler hit another bullet. This time for an out. His combatants nod. Did everything he could, but pick up a go-ahead hit. Congratulations in Plain Field, Iowa. Also to all the men and women around the world watching on the American Forces Network, and those fans watching on ESPN UK. My wife and son are watching in London, where they are right now. Hi, honey. What's up, Leo? They get a behind-the-scenes look at beautiful Wrigley Field. The Cubs offer 90-minute guided tours and include a chance to step on the field. This must-see Chicago attraction houses over 100 years of history. For more info, Cubs.com/tours. Underway in the 7th.
Getting down to cases here. Hendricks continues to string zeros. 3rd consecutive start. There is action in the Cub bullpen.
1-1. Garcia lines one, caught! Leaping grab, Addison Russell.
There have not been many hard hit balls today off Kyle Hendricks. That was one, but Russell well positioned and a heck of a play. Perfectly timed.
How about a dose of your own medicine, Avi? He made a leaping catch to save the game on Saturday against Baltimore. Robbed a game-tying home run from Chris Davis. Happens to everybody. Alexei Ramirez.
Ooh,
ball,
good,
1 strike. This is one of the better ones you'll see. Davis thought, yeah, well, I just tied the game. Look at that. Popped up into center field. Drifting in is Fowler. 2 gone. Flowers now with 2 outs. Grimm and Russell. Rodon is done for the day. He got it done.
Yeah,
a lot of traffic.
Yeah,
but
I think Robin got a little lucky there by leaving him in for that confrontation with Soler. Soler hit the ball right on the screws, but right to the 3rd baseman. So he ended up posting a 0.
Strange line for 6 innings, 2 hits, no runs, 6 walks, 6 strikeouts.
Like a early in the career A.J. Burnett kind of line.
Right. One and two.
This is proving that there's more than one way to get it done. Just the contrast between these two pitchers here today. Rodon, the power lefty, struggling with command. Hendricks, the finesse righty. It's all about command.
He hasn't walked anybody. He did hit Abreu. Toward the middle. And Russell can't get rid of it. Flowers has a 2-out hit. We'll bring up Sanchez. A 3rd consecutive scoreless start to this point for Kyle Hendricks. And what a way to go into the All-Star break for him.
Yeah, and in those last 2 starts, he needed to be that good. The Cubs scored a total of 3 runs in those games, so he won 1-0 and 1 2-0. And that's pressure pitching. It's one thing to pitch shutout baseball when you've got 5 or 6 runs of support, but in games like this, where one little mistake could be the difference, that's a mental grind. Flare base hits for Sanchez here today, so he's pretty much used up his karma quotient.
Cutter is inside. 1 ball, no strikes. Yeah, so they have 2 flare hits, 2 infield hits. 5 total.
He has practiced in the art of deception. And these White Sox hitters like to swing the bat, so they go up there hacking. We've seen them go out, chase changeups, cutters off the plate. Hendricks smart enough to know that he can limit the amount of time he spends in the strike zone because of their aggressive nature.
Connor Gillespie's on deck. He would bat for Rodon. Got a Rodon and a Rondon in the ballpark. Hector, Cubs right-hander. Swing and a miss. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Kind of swing that tells you as a pitcher, I go right back to that?
Well, 2 things. You either say, man, he's just not seeing that changeup, or he's got to be looking for the changeup after that bad hack and will try an elevated fastball.
Looks like Hendricks wants to throw the change. A late call for time.
See, just the body language of Sanchez there tells me that he was looking for that changeup.
Well, this feels like a fastball situation, but they're going to discuss it. Can you quadruple up on the changeup? He's thrown 3 in a row.
I think there's 2 things. Well, he took such a bad swing, and you know, the fact that he took that last one, Sanchez may feel like he's not going to throw me one here, and you could fool him, but that's a high-risk pitch because if you miss, it's ball 4. Excuse me, this guy doesn't have a lot of sock in his bat, so I think the thinking should be, let's just go good, sinker, middle of the way, keep it down around the knees.
Another leaping catch by Addison Russell. I believe that was a changeup.
Yep.
Time for the stretch.
Performers and guest conductors for Take Me Out to the Ball Game.
Cubs fans, let me hear ya. A 1, a 2, a 3.
Take me out to the ball game. Take me out with the crowd. Buy me some peanuts and Cracker Jacks. I don't care if I never get back. Let me root for the Commies. They don't win, it's a shame. For it's 1, 2, 3 strikes, you're out at the old ball game. Let's get some more.
We're in the bottom of the 7th. We're still scoreless.
You see the numbers for Petrichka. ERA of 3. You'll note that he doesn't strike out many. 19 strikeouts in 30 innings. He gets a lot of ground ball outs, a ton of ground ball outs. With a 2-seam fastball. Also throws a slider and a change.
That's Coghlan batting for Denorfia.
That ground ball thread kind of runs throughout their bullpen. They get more outs on the ground than any bullpen in baseball.
The Andy Samberg bit in SNL. I threw it on the ground.
I didn't see the bit.
That one. I want to YouTube it. Pretty good. Zach Duke, left-hander. Which was not where Flowers wanted it. He wanted that pitch neck high. Ended up being right in a perfect hitting zone for Coghlan.
Okay, now with the righty on the mound and a ground ball specialist, the running game much more in play. Yeah, you see Fowler set that mitt very high. Petrichka left that ball about mid-thigh, right in the happy zone for Coghlan. Castro here, and now Montero out on deck for Teagard.
Good lead by Coghlan. Held by Abreu. I had the feel over there at first that Coghlan wanted to get as big a lead as he could, knowing that Petrichka was going to throw over. There he goes. And they will not stay out of the double play. 6-3. Wow. Runners have been on the move.
It's just amazing.
Twice, and they've still turned it. Both times with Castro at the bat. 5 now?
Yes.
And that's the first one that didn't end an inning. Teagarden will take the at bat. 2 outs and nobody on. So the White Sox pitching today has been able to record 10 outs on 5 pitches. Think about Rodon's pitch count had he not gotten to 4. I mean, as it was, he was at 104 pitches through 6.
And you just feel for Joe because he's trying everything he can do. He starts Coghlan there to try to stay out of the double play.
Corey checks in on Twitter regarding the SNL bid. He said, you've got to turn off Seinfeld every now and again.
I'm a big SNL guy.
No, I know you are.
But I missed that, yeah.
That's not my dad. That's a cell phone. One-two pitch. Fouled into the upper deck. 41-580. Inside the ballpark today. Waiting to erupt. So far they've been treated as some really good pitching. Two and two. Steven on Twitter, why not sack bunt to eliminate the double play chance? Well, Joe hates giving up outs. And, you know, the sack bunt rate right now is lower than it's ever been. Waiting for the big headline, Fangraphs or something like that. Is the sack bunt dead?
Yeah, well, and we'll talk about it later.
Hold that thought. To the 8th, 0-0. Is hard throwing Hector.
After a finesse Hendricks, it's hard throwing Hector, and he's got a 1.98 ERA. He hits 206 against him.
Julio Bonifacio, the ex-Cub, will pinch hit to lead off this 8th inning. So let's finish the thought on the sack bunt.
Yeah, I'm just looking. You know, I'm perusing my scorecard here, and I'm looking at the different situations. First inning, Rizzo's on first. Bryant bounces into a double play, so you're not going to bunt there. Twice it was Castro. At the bottom of the order coming up, you're probably not going to count on those guys to drive in runs. You don't want to give up outs as you get down towards the bottom of your batting order. I guess there's, you know, you could argue, well, in the last inning, if you have Starlin bunt, or maybe play a little bunt run instead of double play, you got Montero to pinch hit, you got a better chance of scoring. But I mean, and just philosophically, I'm with Joe. I think I hate to give up outs.
For those who think Starlin should be a good bunter, he has 1 sack bunt the last 5 years combined. And I think the other part of it is Joe is not comfortable asking guys who don't do it a lot to do it.
Yeah, and you see some managers will do that, and then the argument being, well, that's what the game called for. So it's like, it's not on me, it's on them. They didn't execute. But as manager, you have to know what your guys are capable of doing. So even if the situation says this would be a pretty good idea, as a manager, you have to say, yeah, but my chances of executing the play aren't so good because of the personnel involved. So it's just one of those weird days. I mean, it's just, I'm sure Joe after the game, he'll just say baseball.
So
Bonifacio ran up as if to bunt. The pitch hit him.
So the question was, did he swing at it? And they determined he did not. And that's why he will get first base. Yep. Did he bunt?
And it looks like he was able to keep the bat back. I'm not sure I saw the ball hit him for sure.
It did. I think.
Did it?
I thought it was pretty clear. He did a nice job last year with the Cubs. His first 8 games of the season last year, he went 19 for 38. Watch.
Oh, yeah, inside of the leg.
19 for 38, so he was batting .500 through the first 8 games last season. Versatile, switch hitter, good guy in the clubhouse. Unfortunately, he's on with nobody out. The ball pops out of Teagarden's glove. So the White Sox will try to play some small ball here with Eaton and Saladino before the power guys come up.
White Sox have been a terrible base stealing team this year. They've stolen 26, but they've been caught 23 times. Bonifacio is 0 for 4.
There he goes. Bonifacio running. The throw to second. Late.
Pretty good lead. Good jump. Rondon not quick to home. Teagarden didn't have much of a chance.
Oh.
Except for the fact that Bonifacio likely was out. Or at least possibly was out. That was a lot closer than our first look.
Joe does not have a challenge, but he looked out there.
Yeah.
Did he hang on to the ball? I assume he did. If he did, he was out.
And that's a very difficult call for an umpire to make without replay.
Bunt it toward third, and it's a good one. Throw to first. Out at first. So it's a sac bunt. Bonifacio to third. One away.
Yeah, this time it lined up perfectly for Ventura with the personnel he had involved. Bonifacio on base, able to steal, and Eaton, who handles the bat well, can get a bunt down. Moves him over and almost gets himself a base hit.
J.B. Shuck will hit for Saladino, went 0 for 3 in his major league debut.
Going back to that tag at second base, if you're an umpire and you're looking at that play, how do you see the tag and the feet at the base at the same time?
Right.
You'd almost have to step back and get a broader view, and even then it would still be, guesswork.
Here comes Chris Bosio. Big spot in this ball game. One out runner at third, 8th inning.
Shuck, a good extra man, a good defensive player in the outfield. Gives you a good AB off the bench. He's 5 out of 17 in the pinch. He'll take his walks. Hardly ever strikes out.
The game-winning RBI double off the bench last weekend on the 4th versus the Orioles. Infield in. Bonifacio at third. The pitch. And it's low. Kyle Hendricks, fantastic again today. 3 straight scoreless starts for the 25-year-old right-hander. And as JD mentioned, he has pitched in a bunch of tight ball games. Swing and a miss, 1-1. Kyle will get a no decision today.
Continue. It's just been an unbelievable run for the Cubs starters.
Pitch out, wondering if the White Sox might squeeze. 2-1.
Solid stuff, boy, for Kyle Hendricks. Take this run into the All-Star break feeling awfully good about things.
Bonifacio toward the plate, but the ball's foul. Got Cincinnati on the brain. Looking at the last 3 starts, no runs, no drips, no errors.
Johnny Bench. What was that? What was it? It was for the Krylon.
It was iconic 1980s commercial. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Rondon needs a strikeout. Not going to get it though. Bonifacio tagging. Coghlan the catch. Here comes the throw. White Sox have the lead. Sacrifice fly for J.B. Shuck. Coghlan was really just not able to get behind that ball. It was hit just a little too deep for him to.
Yeah, he takes a couple of steps in and was somewhat flat-footed as he kind of. At the end of the day, he got off a pretty strong throw, despite the fact that he didn't have anything going into it.
So 1-0 White Sox. And they get that run without the benefit of a hit. Hit batter, stolen base, sack bunt, sack fly. So as we just talked about the little game, the little ball game, they were able to play it. Not part of the order. This will end the inning. 3-1. Rizzo to Rondon. Sack fly, J.B. Shuck. And we go to the last of the 8th. Now 1-0 for the visitors. Gordon Beckham will now play third. Adam LaRoche at first for Abreu, and Zach Duke, veteran left-hander, takes over on the hill.
Well, Duke been around a long time. Debuted with the Pirates back in '05 as a starting pitcher. Had some early success, then got knocked around a fair bit. Struggled through some tough years. Made the transition to the bullpen and has found success as a reliever.
Jonathan Herrera, switch hitter, pinch hitting here.
This is Duke's first year with the White Sox. Signed a multi-year deal this winter.
Two-0 on Herrera. Russell next. It's a strike, 2-1.
He's 3 out of 14 as a pinch hitter. He's had a number of good games lately. Had some good things off the bench and contributing when he gets the occasional start.
Bunted, foul. Back up and hit him.
Flowers, excuse me, trying to make the case that the ball hit him in fair territory. Dan Bellino will have none of it.
Very difficult to get that call. Mott and Grimm. Let's see, it looks like Beckham in the 2 spot in their lineup now. LaRoche 9. Pitcher spot 3.
Talked earlier about this run-scoring environment in Major League Baseball these days. This feels like a dead ball era game, doesn't it? Guys trying to bunt, all these double plays being turned.
Swing and a miss, so Duke comes all the way back. Strikes out Herrera.
Have we seen an outfielder turn around and run yet today?
No, we've seen him run in.
Yeah. Trying to recall even a guy having to drift back on a deep fly ball.
Well, really, actually, the sac fly where Coughlin just couldn't find enough time to get behind it. Duke, a longtime starter with the Pirates. Starting in 05, and he was an All-Star 2009. Since 2011, mostly as a reliever. Last year with Milwaukee, 74 appearances and a 2.45 ERA. Turned that into a 3-year contract with the White Sox. Two and two. And I would say almost in every case, I mean, late in their career, guys will go from starter to reliever. It's because it's their only chance to hang around, right?
Yeah.
I don't remember John Smoltz's case. I know he had arm issues, but do you remember the specific reason why he became a closer?
I think it was post-surgery.
Yeah. But very few guys like Duke, just one day the manager says, I think he'd be better in the league.
No, and Duke, you know, he's kind of dropping down a little lower arm angle here than he used to use. And I think he just had the wherewithal to essentially reinvent himself. Said, all right, what I'm doing is not working. More of a conventional delivery as a starter. Let's change the arm angle a little bit, see if I can become a guy who really neutralizes left-handed hitters. And
Ball 4. How about Russell's day? He's walked all 3 times. So it's Fowler with a runner at first and 1 out. That one off his foot. Cubs 4-2 on this homestand. That'll lead right into the All-Star break. I'm sorry, 4-3. Trying to forget Wednesday night. There it is. It's a strike. And it's 0-2. Cubs starting pitchers came in the last 10 games with a 1.32 ERA. The team has won 7 of those 10. They trail here 1-0.
Runs will be at a premium again tomorrow. It's John Lester versus Chris Sale.
It was 11 consecutive games which starters have allowed 2 or fewer runs. They had a 10-game stretch going into today that had only been done 2 other times by a Cubs staff since 1914. According to stats, it happened in 72 and in 1919. And then in 19. And bounce. Did it hit him? Nope. Ooh. I thought it might have gotten a shoelace. Well, maybe not.
No. Here we go again. To run or not to run? Norman Hyde letting Russell know.
Not going, and called strike 3.
Third time Dexter has been rung up looking today. Last time it was a 3-2 fastball that was off the plate inside. He's not even going to bother Dan Bellino this time. He's not calling that on the swing. He called it a strike.
It's been the biggest strike zone vertically we've seen all year. But as you said, it's kind of been that way all day. And Rizzo with 2 outs.
I wonder if Dan has a low ERA, a low umpire's ERA. If he has this zone consistently, I'm guessing yes.
Outfield deep. Rizzo fouls away. Corner guys particularly. No doubles right now with a 1-run lead. Trying to keep Russell from scoring here with 2 outs.
Yeah, and Cabrera starts to drift a little bit towards the line and left. So trying to protect that well area a little bit.
Two balls, 2 strikes. The pitch. Spoiler there by Rizzo. And the curve.
Drop down delivery of Duke. The hope is, from his point of view, that the left-handed hitter will pull off a little bit, leak that front shoulder. Doesn't really happen with Rizzo.
No. He chased one off the plate. All the outs, strikeouts for Duke. In fact, no balls in play in that 8th inning. the game, and the Cubs have been seeing double today. Sometimes when you see double, it's a good thing. You're hitting doubles, but today it's been double plays.
Yeah, that one there's on Castro, that Ramirez start was just spectacular. Then you got the sinking line drive. It created some confusion, turned into a rather unconventional double play. There's a strikeout throwout double play. You know, all manner of double plays. Again, base runner going, but Ramirez there to cover, apply the tag, and finish it off. Frustrating day for the Cub hitters.
Justin Grimm charged with keeping the White Sox at 1, as the Cubs will have Bryant, Soler, and Coghlan due up against David Robertson, who should be the guy in the bottom of the ninth.
Glittering numbers for Grimm so far this year. Yep, he has that kind of stuff. He can induce some ugly hacks.
Oh, 2. Let's take a look at the Elgin Toyota upcoming schedule. Got 2 more before the break. 3:05 start tomorrow, and then 1:20 on Sunday. 4 days off before a trip to Atlanta and Cincinnati. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Get him ready. Here it is. Ground ball. Russell to his glove side. Little stumble. Able to recover. Hey, Cub fans, let's go. Don't miss your chance to catch the best matchups in baseball. Reserve your place in line for history in the making. Join the season ticket holder waiting list. It's easy and free to register. For details, visit Cubs.com/waitlist. Alexei Ramirez with 2 outs. Russell's just so athletic. Makes you jealous as an old guy to look at a 21-year-old. If I had gone down like that, I'd have been down for 10 minutes.
Oh, yeah.
He just gets right back up, no problem. Great balance.
That's what the scouts would say. He's got a lot of life in that body.
Yeah. He'll get another chance, sliding to his right this time. Nice job, Justin Grimm. That was a 9-pitch 1-2-3. All right, here we go. Bottom of the ninth. Stay with us. Bike riders use the Cubs courtesy bike check. And for drivers, the Cubs provide free parking and shuttle service on night and weekend games from 3900 North Rockwell. For details, visit Cubs.com.
Well, here comes the closer. Yeah, Robertson on for the 35th time. He saved 18, but he's failed on 4 occasions. A lot of 194 batting average. 3 long balls among the 26 hits. He's walked 7 while striking out 51. So there's a lot of cut fastballs. Sharp curveball. Change up. Not the overpowering stuff that a lot of closers have in terms of velocity, but knows how to pitch.
Face Chris Bryant. It started 1-0 White Sox. Robertson on a 4-year deal with $46 million. White Sox had bullpen issues last year, and they spent some money to address it. One and one. Robertson, an all-star with the Yanks in 2011. Put up a 1.08 ERA in 70 appearances. So 39 last year. Looking for number 19 this year. That's a strike. Alabama native. Went to the University of Alabama in Tuscaloosa. Went to Paul Bryant High School, in fact, in Tuscaloosa.
Is their nickname the Bears?
I don't know.
Houndstooth fedoras.
Swing and a miss. We're out number 1.
Not as cutter reliant as Kenley Jansen, but he'll remind you a little bit of Jansen. That cutter actually backed up on him, but it ended up in a good spot. Riding up and in on Bryant, getting the swing through.
Miss by Soler.
A little overly anxious. We'll take a little time here to regroup. I think the Cubs' best chance to score was in the 6th when Soler was up there with a couple of men on base. Robin Ventura decided to leave Rodon in. He had been scuffling and had walked 2 in the inning. Soler hit a bullet right to third base to end the inning.
We sure would love to get this one. You've got to face Chris Sale tomorrow. Cubs will have John Lester, though. This should be a fun one. Quintana and Arrieta on Sunday. Soler strikes out. 2 away. It'll be up to Chris Coghlan. That is a hard curveball, isn't it? 83 miles an hour. 84.
It's the 12th strikeout for the Cubs this afternoon.
A lot of bite. Pinch hit single in the 7th for Coghlan. Sanchez to end the game. So the White Sox steal game 1, 1-0. Bunch of double plays turn. And a team that has struggled this year defensively made some big plays.
Yeah, Ramirez, a sparkling play to start a double play here. Sanchez ends the game with a great diving catch. Just too many strikeouts for the Cub hitters again today. The strikeouts, the double plays just really minimize their chances, and the White Sox take game 1 of the series.
Yeah, 5 double plays and 12 strikeouts here today. So a couple of back-to-back 1-run losses on this homestand. Cubs are 4-4 on the homestand.
Well, if you're looking for the positive, Kyle Hendricks absolutely brilliant again today. 3rd consecutive start of shutout baseball. He's got 6 shutout against the Mets, 7 1/3 last time out against the Marlins, and 7 shutout here against the White Sox today. He seems to get better every time he goes out.
So once again, your final score today: the White Sox 1 and the Cubs 0. First of 6 in this season series, a Crosstown Cup. We're back with you, actually, the White Sox guys tomorrow. Hawk and Stoney, 2:30 for the pregame coverage for game 2. Now for JD and our entire crew here at Wrigley Field, Len Casper inviting you to stay tuned. A lot more to come on Blue Cross Blue Shield Cubs Postgame Live next.